I'm from the US, but I've lived in Mexico for about a year now, and since I've been here, I've experienced freedom like I never thought possible. And today, we're going to be taking a look at 8 reasons Mexico feels more like freedom than the USA, including how Mexico has less corporate takeover, fewer rules around small businesses, and a greater connection to public spaces, and much more. Number 1. Mexico has experienced less corporate takeover. Large chains still exist in Mexico, but local businesses absolutely dominate many areas. Instead of having the same restaurant chains everywhere and the same supermarkets everywhere, you often find unique local restaurants, family-owned stores, and regional products. The variety can feel liberating. In the US, lots of people are always talking about how it's important to shop local because big businesses are pushing out all of the mom and pop stores. And in Mexico, it seems like they are actually shopping local, which is a very good thing for the local economy. And it's better for the consumer too, because once big businesses take over, your options will be more limited and the prices for the things you need will only go up. Now don't get me wrong, there's lots of big name brand stores all over Mexico, but the difference is, those stores are just some of the options available. And in order to get to those options, you'll usually pass by several more convenient locally owned stores along the way. So if you do want to shop at a luxury mall or a chain supermarket, there are plenty of those available. But you don't have to shop there like you would throughout most of the US. Number 2. Mexico has fewer rules around small businesses. In Mexico, there definitely seems to be little to no rules around how a small business is run. It seems like if you want to start running a business, you can do exactly that, however and wherever you want. Many people will run their businesses right out of the front of their homes. It's not uncommon for someone to just section off and open up a store right in the front of their house, and just live in the rest of it. And as a businessman myself, I think that's a really cool idea. In the US, there are zoning laws and other restrictions that would prevent you from running a business out of a residential area, which sucks because then you have to pay for a place to live and a place to run your business at the same time. Rules like that prevent many small businesses from opening to the public, which is a great benefit to all of the bigger businesses because now they have less competition. And in turn, not only does that hurt small business, but it hurts the consumer too. Because when big business has no competition, there's much less of a reason for big business to not just raise their prices through the roof. And this is the sort of corporate greed that really hurts the little guy. Number 3. Mexico has easier access to fresh food. In Mexico, there is fresh food at every corner. You don't need to go into a full supermarket trip to get fresh food. You could be walking down the sidewalk on almost any given street and pass by a small grocery store where you can buy fresh produce and other snacks. The access to fresh food is in part because of the higher standards of Mexican farmers, but it's also because of the increased competition between all of the different food vendors. There are so many people selling food in Mexico that if you're not selling really good stuff, there's no way you're going to stay in business, because customers can just go 2 doors down and get what they need there. So again, the increased competition amongst business owners is great for the consumer. Ideally, you want as many companies as possible competing for your business. But furthermore, Mexico is rich in usable farmland. And in the US, a lot of the produce sold is from Mexico and other countries south of the US border. So of course the food is going to be fresher because you're buying it so much closer to the source. Number 4. In Mexico, you have a less work-centric identity. A common question in the US is, what do you do? In many Mexican social settings, people often focus more on family, hobbies, community, and personal relationships. Many people from the US, myself included, find that freeing because their identity feels less tied to employment. Most people I know don't really like their jobs necessarily. They just work to pay the bills. And I guess it's like that anywhere. But it's great to not have something like that tied to your identity. It's nice having people know you by who you actually are as opposed to how you choose to earn your money. It doesn't matter to me if you're a janitor or the owner of a highly successful company. If you're a good person, then that's what's really most important. Number 5. Mexico has less of an obsession with productivity, and yet somehow it's still a more productive country. It's just that Mexico doesn't have an obsession with it. In the US, a lot of people are fixated on what's called hustle culture, which is basically the idea that you should be working around around the clock 24/7. And in my opinion, that whole mindset is really toxic, and it's basically just a fast track to getting burned out. And if you've ever felt burnt out by your job, you know that's not when you're the most productive. In Mexico, it seems people are more focused on relationships, families, experiences, and just things that give people enjoyment in general. I've always thought that a good work-life balance is key to having a fulfilling life. And the people of Mexico definitely have that. Now, don't get me wrong, Mexicans are some of the hardest working people on earth, but they've also mastered how to do that while keeping in mind the things that are actually important in life. Number 6. Here in Mexico, there's simply more in-person human interaction. A lot of daily transactions remain person to person, and this is a good thing. People in the US have been talking about experiencing a loneliness epidemic that's been affecting millions of people, but this seems to be much less of an issue in Mexico. Rather than sitting at home and ordering DoorDash, people in Mexico are more likely to just go outside, walk to a restaurant, and meet up with friends. And people do still do this in the US, but it seems a lot less common. And likewise, you can still have Uber Eats drop food off at your door for a contactless interaction, but again, it's just a lot less common. Number 7. Greater connection to public spaces. Town squares, parks, and malls are actively used. A lot of you guys left comments in a video I made about malls in Mexico pointing out that people like to go to the mall to just hang out, even if they're not necessarily trying to buy anything. And in the US, there aren't very many places you can go to just hang out where you don't end up having to spend a lot of money. The idea of having accessible third spaces in the US is kind of going away. I mean, there are third spaces in the US, but they're either somewhere that you have to spend a lot of money, or they're places that are just not as commonly used. Number 8. Fewer permission structures. In Mexico, there are much fewer permission structures that get in the way of everyday life. In the US, there seems to always be some kind of corporate policy or bureaucratic red tape to get in the way of individuals doing what they want to do. And there's also usually some kind of application fee involved. And phrases like application fee honestly make me feel sick to my stomach. I like to think of myself as a man of action. And the last thing I want when I'm trying to accomplish my goals is some nonsensical reason that I have to wait for final approval. For example, in Mexico, if you want to paint the house you own a certain color, you can just go ahead and do it. And there are very few exceptions to that. Even making additions onto your home are very common. When you walk through most neighborhoods, you'll see lots of variations from home to home, even if they all started out looking really similar. In Mexico, there's just more of a we'll figure it out sort of mentality, which is definitely my preferred way of going about any situation. And in my opinion, having the freedom to pursue your goals is essential for overall happiness. Now, if you're still watching, I need to know from you guys what I've missed. What makes Mexico feel like freedom to you? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like the video and please subscribe. Till next time.